Hello YouTube, and good morning from Switzerland, not far from the town of Basel. I'm just on my balcony this morning enjoying some beautiful tobacco in a beautiful pipe. And in fact you may see here E equals mc squared, which will remind you of the great physicist and mathematician Albert Einstein. Well, what I'd like to talk about is this pipe, Ben Wade pipe, couple of tobaccos that Albert Einstein, at least which are matches of what he smoked. He smoked something, a mix called Revelation, and the two I will briefly show you, one of which I have in the bowl, are matches of that wonderful tobacco. And also to talk a little bit about, briefly, this equation, E equals mc squared, and my theory that pipe smoking does indeed fit for a thinking man and makes you perhaps more intelligent. Well, Einstein certainly thought so, because, just to quote him, he said, pipe smoking contributes to a somewhat calm and objective judgment in all human affairs. So broadly helps you to be philosophical in many things, but in his particular area of mathematics and physics. Well, this pipe is in fact the same design as you see. This was a Davidoff billiard. This pipe belonged to Einstein and was sold for more than £50,000 in 2017. He had several different pipes that he used. There's one or two in the Smithsonian Museum in the United States, but this is one example, and Ben Wade have quite correctly copied this for one example of their pipes. And that is actually, coming on to Ben Wade, a bit their concept, that they take an interesting idea or an interesting person and translate it into a pipe design. And I have about 6 Ben Wade pipes, and I think they are excellent value. They're not expensive at all, fairly inexpensive. And they are beautifully designed. That's basically the concept behind them is very nice, and rather clever, I think, as in this case. And one time I will show you some more, particularly that Christmas pipes, which I can really recommend, are totally beautiful. Not very well known. Ben Wade you can find under mysmokingshop.co.uk. And they do export their pipes. They've sent this to me in Switzerland from London, where they're produced in Walthamstow. They don't export tobaccos, but as far as I know, the pipes they internationally can sell over the world, and I really can recommend them. I find the quality very, very good. Mine are all 9mm pipes, and a number of the designs they have without filter, if you prefer that. You could even say most are without filter, but a good number are with 9mm filter. Comes with this little sleeve, which you will receive with the pipe. And they are in the Walthamstow plant, right amongst several other pipe producers. For example, Hardcastle are there, Parker are there, Duncan Pipes, and I think obviously these brands have all been collected together to give an economy of scale in making the pipes, and even Dunhill, I think, are produced in that same location in Walthamstow. There's a nice history of Ben Wade on pipepedia.org, which gives you a lot of the colourful background of how that brand changed ownership, as many pipe companies have done over the years. And it's worth having a look at. Ben Wade is probably also known to some collectors for the estate pipes, which of course they were originally made in Leeds, and they were very high quality pipes back then, and you can still find some of these on eBay and other places which have been restored, and that's probably where most people know them, but there is still a modern production going on of these Ben Wade pipes, and I really just love this one, and I think they've got several others. There's a nice Chartwell, which is where Churchill used to live. He used to smoke, of course, mainly cigars, but also a pipe. And as I said, lots of lovely Christmas pipe designs. So worth taking a look at. I'll leave the links below. Talking too much, so my pipe, of course, goes out. Let's relight it. So what about this Sutliff? Match? Well, I'm enjoying it immensely. It's, I think, a very nice, sweet blend. It's got basically Burley, dark Kentucky in it, Latakia, Perique, and Virginia, and a topping, so it's a sort of crossover English blend with fruit and citrus. So you certainly pick up this sweetness from the Kentucky, and you certainly pick up a bit of nut background there from the Burley. Very low key, if you like, Latakia, so the smokiness is rather light, and the fruitiness of the Perique is buried a little bit under the topping, so it's not going to maybe be something a purist who really wants a lot of Latakia coming through there, or a lot of Perique coming through there to be right, but it's certainly very easy and mild, very low nicotine, and no tongue bite at all. You could smoke this all day. It's rather a damp day here and cloudy, and that's probably why I'm struggling a bit to keep it light. But very pleasant. Which brings me to the point that I think some tobaccos can make you think better and be more intelligent. For example, while smoking this, I realise that this is not quite right, is it? I think this doesn't quite work. I'm quoting from Mozart, who was talking about Salieri's piece of music for the Kaiser in Germany, and went on then to correct it. So I have to actually correct this equation. This equation is only true for particles with no momentum, which are not moving. It's easy to make synonymous with Einstein, but it doesn't tell the whole story. So I'm just going to give you now the equation that gives you the whole story. And as one other example why it's not quite right, it would not work for a photon, because a photon has no mass, and it says a photon has no energy, but it's not true, because you know solar cells work from sunlight, which is basically photons imparting energy into the photocell. So you ask, well, if that's not quite right, at least under the boundary conditions of a moving particle or a photon, for example, what is. So I've written out here, shortly after starting this pipe, of course, this equation. It's much better, do you agree? I think this works a lot better. You see, the P is the momentum, and now everything works, because a stationary particle, P is 0, then E equals mc squared. But for a moving particle or a photon, this equation is the right one. Always sounds better in a German accent if you're discussing physics or formula like this. But basically, I will leave a link below, because of course others point this out regarding the Einstein equation. So you see, this blend does actually make you more intelligent. I would never have seen that had I not smoked this. So, it's actually really good. I mean, I can recommend this. It's just a nice, easy, lightly sweet. You get a bit further and then you get a bit more of the smokiness and the undertones and a little bit of grass there. Well, the other one that people like to smoke, which is slightly higher rated in tobaccoreviews.com at 3 versus 2.7 for this one, for Sutliff, is the Cornell and Deal Epiphany. And some people, there's a tendency to say it's slightly better for them because this one has Virginia and not dark Kentucky, and somehow they say that that's a bit better, there's a bit more Latakia in it, that they pick out that better, and with the Perique, and maybe a little bit different and lighter topping. Some people say the Sutliff one, typically Sutliffy sort of topping with a sort of, you know, vanilla and everything. I'm not picking up so much vanilla, certainly sweetness, but oh, it's lovely, isn't it? Isn't this wonderful thing, pipe smoking? I just so love it. So Epiphany, at some point I will try this and compare it to see what the differences are a little bit. I just got this the other day, and we'll cellar it for a bit and then try it out. Can't wait for that. So that's it. Ben Wade, my smoking shop, co.co.uk. Pipedia, the history, worth certainly a look. Beautiful pipes, clever ideas, love it. And certainly these two revelation match tobaccos, worth having a look at. And for anyone interested in the physics story of Einstein's equation, have a look. There are some good YouTube videos. I just put one there for your reference. And one last thing, I'll show you a little what I see from my balcony, just in case you're curious. And you see the lovely autumn leaves turning to a lovely brown. We don't have much sun, but in the sunshine it's even better. That little farm over there, that's the Jura Mountain foothills right around me here. So lovely little village where I'm living, and a beautiful view from the balcony. And at least now it's stopped raining, so I'm enjoying it very much here. And with that, I would like to bid you a lovely day and enjoy your pipe smoking, and it definitely does make you more intelligent. I don't care what anyone says. So take care, and thanks for looking in.